contest page. Register for your chance to win a $20 gift card to Red Savoy Pizza. KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
Honest to God, the Dr. Dan's Inbox terrorists are steadfast and tenacious. Yes, yesterday I said 4:30, but what occasionally happens in a daily talk show, fast moving, reacting to not just breaking news, but changing guest schedules, it might have to get moved. And today it's going to get moved. What time's Johnny, did you say?
4:30.
4:30.
That's why.
That's why people are mad. So in this case, it's a promise we're going to keep, but not at 4:30 because these are circumstances that we could not have foreseen. So maybe the lesson for me is don't guarantee anything yesterday at a given time. I just assumed,
like Game 2 Wolves-Mavs.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well either, did it?
You're not on a very good run.
So we'll get it in, but Johnny had to be moved because JJ was moved from the 4 o'clock hour to allegedly going to join us, well, maybe it's even sometime soon. We think 3:40-ish or so, but that too is fluid. We're dependent on his schedule. Vikings people who are working with him today as he's moving from point A to point B to point C, point D, et cetera, et cetera. We have a short window here to ask you a question regarding the Danny Hurley rumors.
Yeah.
We were just talking yesterday about who the betting money was on becoming the next Lakers coach, and it was originally we thought a lot of people thought it was going to be J.J. Redick, who I've been bored with from the beginning. You kind of like. Now it appears, at least according to some reports from Woj, among others, but I think Woj broke this.
Yes.
That the Lakers are targeting UConn's Danny Hurley to be the next head coach. So obviously to get him, it's going to have to be a mega deal. It's going to have to be something massive, correct?
Yeah.
Is this guy the kind of coach, as brilliant as he's been, that says college too much for you to believe that it can be transferred, whatever his basketball genius is, and it's considerable, to be transferred to the National Basketball Association and the glitz of Los Angeles, California?
It would seem to me no, because he is, I think, built very differently than most NBA head coaches. He is a tough SOB, and I mean that as a high compliment. Like, he is a grinder. He is tough. It's about defense. It's about all of these things. It's about molding to the team. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him, obviously, because of his basketball acumen. I think he's smart enough to know he probably couldn't be as maniacal as he is, because he is maniacal for sure. Talked to PJ Carlissimo about it at the Final Four. He coached him at Seton Hall, and that's how their family is. That's how Bob Sr. was. That's how Bobby was. That's how Danny is. But if you're him, you've quickly ascended from a high school coach to then a mid-major coach to now the top of the profession. What else do you have to do? Like, I can see, and it's the Lakers. It's not your usual NBA job, taking usually a bad team, right? Like Calipari did for the New Jersey Nets, or even like Mike Montgomery took over the Warriors when it was bad. Like, this is the Lakers. Like, that would be a tough one to turn down. It would be a really tough one to turn down.
I'm fascinated by it as an experiment, again, because we've seen it. There have been some outstanding college coaches that could not reach the players the same way. It just didn't work. Many of them came back to the college game with their tail between their legs, right?
But Brad Stevens, it worked.
That's true.
Billy Donovan, now on his second job.
That's also, he's not been great, but he's certainly
not a disaster.
Not a disaster,
right?
Exactly it.
So there's guys that have been able to do it.
The disasters were, and people, the youngsters won't remember this name, was it Mike Montgomery?
Yes.
The Stanford coach, didn't he go?
He went to the Golden State Warriors.
And wasn't that a disaster?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that did not go very well either.
Not really.
So I think it all, to me, it goes back to, like you say, the approach issue. Is he versatile enough to understand that at that level, he's not going to be able to talk to the players the same way he did? Not for long. It's just not going to work. On the other hand, people say that strategically, in terms of the offense he runs and the things he does, that it's leaps and bounds ahead of almost anybody else in the college game right now.
Thanks in large part as well to Bill Murray's son.
That's true.
Luke.
I wonder if he'll come with him.
Luke will probably take over UConn.
We haven't heard anybody, including Woj, say it's as good as done. They're saying the Lakers are pulling out all the stops to go after him. And that's what and so what fascinates me is it a slam dunk? Because there are, I still believe, I think maybe more than ever, significant differences between the way the best college coaches can coach kids that age and the way that the best pro coaches coach at the next level. I'm not here to say you can't demand accountability. There aren't ways to challenge. We've said we think that actually even Finchie has done a good job of that over the course of his tenure in his own way. But it would have to be very different. And maybe the assumption is if he takes the job, he'd know it. But that still might not be the same thing as doing it, right? I mean, right. For me, the analogy is, Izzo flirted a couple of times at the NBA, including with Flip here. Never really made the jump. And I was another one I was going to be, if he made it, I was going to be interested in it. And I know whenever I thought there might be a possibility here, given the ruinous nature of this franchise, I was all for taking that leap and that gamble. If you could get a guy of that royalty, Tom Izzo, this was back when he was more in his prime as well.
Yep.
But I'm not going to lie to you, whispering in the back of my mind, I wasn't even sure that Izzo would be able to make that kind of a jump. To translate what he does to the pros as well, it would have to be a very, very different approach, I think, wouldn't it? Strategic, not strategically in terms of X's and O's, but just in terms of day-to-day communication.
Yeah.
Because what do we always hear about Izzo? Yeah, he'd go after him, but it was he could do that because the players deep down knew he cared about them. That's well and good, and you could make the same argument in the pros, but there's a lot of pro players that still won't listen to it. They won't care that, well, yeah, I don't care if deep down you really like me. I'm not going to listen to that. I don't need it. The season's too long. I'm just not going to accept it.
He would probably have to make some adjustments. Now, offensively, they might understand that he's such a genius.
A savant.
He's a savant, and he's going to put you in the right position. And then you got to figure out the rest in terms of the defensive part of it, the every night part of it. The grind of an NBA season is different than the grind of a college season. You're not having 2-3 hour practices in the NBA pretty much ever, which is what a lot of these college coaches are doing.
Coach Cal was a disaster in the pros, wasn't he?
Yeah. For the most part, he got the New Jersey job.
You could say Rick Pitino, it actually wasn't a disaster. I mean, it was in Boston. He was in New York, too, right?
Yeah, Coach Trent.
He did okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't, they didn't win a title, but it was not like, oh, my God, why would they even consider this sort of thing?
Tim Floyd, disaster. John Beilein, disaster. He quit.
There's more disasters than success stories. Now,
and a lot of it is because of the jobs they get, though.
That's a fair point,
They do not get great jobs. And Calipari talked about that a lot. This is the Lakers. Brad Stevens was the Celtics, right? You get good organizations historically, you're probably going to have a better chance.
That's true, too. That's fair. The Bradshaw and Bryant KFN text line is open, 64686. By the way, NBA Finals start tonight, and I'm sure we'll get to that at least briefly with Johnny. The major subject with him will be the story he broke regarding Mike Bloomberg becoming part of the A-Rod Lori ownership group. Oh, we do. We're in good shape. All right, good. So we'll get into the NBA Finals, which start tonight as well with Johnny Athletic. Justin Jefferson is indeed kind enough to join us via the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline. I think he is at TCO Performance Center in the lovely studio there. Can you hear us okay, sir?
Yes, sir, I can.
I appreciate the time very much.
Of course, thank you for having me.
It's always good to talk to you. We've had some great visits with you during the Toys for Tots events, which we always appreciate as well. And I was listening to your presser, and I sensed that it was a fairly emotional moment for you. And part of what I think that's about, I want to read you. I was just doing some background on your career, and some of it's the obvious stuff. But this struck me. According to 247 Sports, this is coming into college, the 2,164th player in the country, the number 308 wide receiver in the country, and the number 76th ranked prospect in Louisiana for the class of 2017. You think about this now and you say, well, that's nuts. That's crazy. That's absurd. How could that possibly be? Mm-hmm. But what I sense from you is part of what drives you and part of that emotion of having that moment, this is a big moment for a player of your age, was all that background and all you remembered because you weren't supposed to be the sure thing that you obviously have become.
For sure. Just like you said, just having that doubt, having that chip on my shoulder every single step of my career kind of helped me turn out to be the player that I am now. Just not ever being given something, always had to work and earn everything that I have. So just having that in the back of my mind, having the mindset to go out there and kill anyone that steps in front of me. And, of course, after a while, having that confidence and having that swagger with my game helped tremendously.
It's funny. I chuckled because earlier in the playoffs, Anthony Edwards used that exact same term. He was on with the TNT guys, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and the group. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, actually, this was an ESPN interview. And he said, I just want to kill whoever's in front of me. So you guys seem to share a little bit of that sort of, competitive streak, shall we say.
Oh, for sure. Just, being from the South, that's kind of how we're raised, to have that competitive spirit, to have that aggression to go out there and try to kill who's ever in front of us. We definitely have that same type of mindset. I definitely feel that, watching him play. Of course, he probably feels the same watching me play. But to be young like we are and to be dominant at this game that we play at a high level, it speaks a lot.
So, the athlete, the gifted player who uses that feeling of not being taken as seriously, being as good as they think they are, it's amazing because Tom Brady, it seemed like, used it. Didn't matter how many Super Bowls he won. That's still what he was thinking about and talking about. So for you, there's a part of me that says, well, you can't even say it anymore, JJ. You're now the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the league. That's respect. And yet I bet you're going to tell me it's still going to be part of what you do. And the way you think.
For sure. Just like I've been saying to everyone in this building, that main contract, of course, is something that I've been looking forward to for a long period of time. But it wasn't my main focus of playing football. I didn't wake up in the mornings, early mornings as a little kid, excited to play a game just to be one day the highest paid player. I always played the game just because I loved it. I had that joy to go out there and to have fun and to do all that I needed to do to perform better than my opponent. And I just kind of have that same type of spirit, that same type of energy towards the game. Just going out there, having as much fun as possible. Of course, just having the chemistry with the teammates and the coaches and the whole entire staff in this building. It makes it a lot easier coming to work, to play this game that we love. And, of course, it feels a lot better getting a little extra money on the side.
Doesn't hurt either. So in terms, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the contract, but I want to ask you one other thing about it if we can. The feeling I had from afar was that for you and perhaps and the people representing you, that the key here was you wanted to be not just the highest paid wide receiver, but you did want to be the highest paid non-quarterback. Is that what this was about, do you think? How do you view that?
Really, I just wanted to get whatever I was valued at. Just knowing what I have done for the organization, the leadership that I have with my coaches and my teammates, and the performance that I've been having ever since I got into the league. It just shows how much that I mean to the team, to the organization, to the fan base, and I just wanted to get what I was worth. Of course, having those conversations with the team, going back and forth on the numbers and what I should and shouldn't have, and the guarantees and everything. I felt like everyone did their part into, getting this deal done. I felt like we wasn't, impatient on the process. We wasn't, saying like we're going to sit out and doing all of this extra stuff on social media. It was strictly about business. It's strictly about getting the deal done and trying to get back to this team and back to this building as fast as possible. I felt like the process definitely was great all the way around. And, I couldn't be more happier, just being with this team for 5 more years and excited to see what we do.
I'm glad you brought that part up because, as you know, if you do a word association game, a lot of people, when they say wide receiver, the next word that comes to their mind is diva. There are some receivers,
sure.
Wide receivers. We've had some here. I covered him. Chris Carter, tremendous player, but there'd be some drama. Randy Moss, Hall of Famer, drama. We've never associated that with you, and it also bears repeating that sort of was confirmed by the way you went through this process. There wasn't a lot of stuff leaked about, JJ, you know what? He's starting to get a little bit nervous.
Right.
He's demanding this. So how consciously did you do it the way you did it, and why is that? Why was that important to you?
Honestly, I'm just grateful to have the people that I have in my circle, to have, my family and friends and even teammates and coaches to be in my circle, trying to talk to me about, whatever I have going on. I'm just really excited that we finally reached to the point where now I can just focus on football. I can focus on my team, getting my team to where we would like to be. Of course, holding up that trophy every single year is the goal and the plan. So it's a step towards that. It's a long season, a long off season. Even still now, it's still more time to go until we're really, suiting up and playing this game. So until then, it's all about being focused, having that mental focus, that mental break before the season starts. Of course, it's a long, long season, a lot of weeks, a lot of preparation that we have to go through. So it's just really getting that mental ready for the season, and I'm definitely excited.
So regarding the other part of being a diva receiver, because that sometimes means leaving the contract part aside, it's on the sidelines, it's antics, it's complaining. Again, that's not something. You're a pretty expressive person. You obviously prove that every time you score a touchdown. But you haven't gone down that road very much. And so is that conscious again? Is that like just your personality? You don't like to get into that sort of thing? Because some of the greatest wide receivers who ever played have tended to be that way.
Yeah. Just like I say to everyone that kind of asks me similar questions to that, it's a tough game that we play. We're at a position where we have to depend on a lot of people. Yeah. We have to depend on the quarterback to throw us the ball. Even before then, we got to worry about we have to focus on the O-line for picking up the blocks and the blitzes. Of course, the running back got to step up and make a block. So there's a lot of things that really have to go right for, a receiver to even be thrown the football. So sometimes those games, you're one of the top guys in the league. So, you're going to get doubled. You're going to get tripled. You're going to be the main game plan for the defense. So those times it gets frustrating for sure. You just can't let everyone else know. You just can't be that type of person to express your emotions and your feelings right then and there. Because just like I said, there's a lot of things that goes into it. You just got to be focused into the game. Know when your time is going to come, and of course making the most of those opportunities. And those opportunities are not going to come every single game. You can't expect it to. So you just got to make the most of it. Of course, this is a team game, so you can't just be selfish and worrying about getting your stats and the things that you want.
I'll tell you what, I hope that part of the change in this offense is you got, to me, Aaron Jones is a really good runner. I hope you guys run more. Now, that could come at the expense of a couple of throws to you, but I think everybody wins if you guys can establish a big-time running game with him, if he can stay healthy, because I think then everybody wins in terms of even having to respect that more, therefore opening up even more opportunities for you and other people on the outside.
Exactly, and that's exactly how it was when we had Dalvin Cook in the backfield. Just having an explosive running back, having a running back that can open up the offense like Aaron Jones. You know, that's something that we needed. That's something that we live for, to be able to have that run game, to be strong, to fill up the box for the defense, and then we throw it right over their heads. So to have that versatility and to be able to run the ball whenever we feel, and then, you know, we can open up the game by passing the ball downfield with the different guys that we have on this offense.
So let's finish up with this. You've talked a lot about the other JJ and what you're going to try to do to help him through this process. Mm-hmm. You're not even in your prime yet, really. I mean, you're heading into what could be very much your prime years. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't the open-ended nature of the quarterback situation here scare you at all or concern you a little bit? Why is it that you continue to say, yeah, I'm here, I'm fine, I'm committed, this is the place? Because, you know, as you said, you're dependent. Your position, more than most, you're dependent at what you get at that position, quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback is a difficult position, you know, for everyone. I get asked those questions on, you know, how did I learn the playbook? You know, how long did it take to learn that playbook? And everyone's different. You know, everyone handles the playbook differently. Everyone has a different learning style, a studying style of learning that playbook. But, I mean, I just would say that the confidence level, just, you know, going in with that confidence and that swagger to step on the field and feel like you cannot be touched. I was talking to JJ earlier, you know, about just having that confidence with everything you do. We was talking about Joe Burrow and his days at LSU, and what did I feel like was that changer for Joe. And I mean, he's definitely a smart kid. He's a kid that asks a lot of questions and want to learn and want to know about how to be better in this league and how to perform at the highest ability. That's kind of something that I respect from him. Even that he's a rookie and he's new, he still doesn't mind asking you questions and wanting to learn from the older guys. And me, even being still young and still trying to find new ways to learn and find new ways to better myself. Even talking to Sam and just picking his brain on what he thinks about certain things and what he looks at and how he goes on about his daily routine. So it's definitely good to get in those heads of those quarterbacks, to talk to them, talk through the routes and the plays with them. Of course, you want to be on that same page and have that chemistry with every single quarterback that you're going to be able to throw with. So it's always good to have that chemistry with them and talk to them about anything.
I really appreciate your time. We got 30 seconds, so maybe a quick answer here. You talked a lot about leadership. It's an overused word, but it's important, obviously, for any team in any locker room. How do you define it as the way you want to display it? You want to make it part of what you are going forward?
Yeah, I feel like it comes with it. You know, just being the player that I am, of course, doing the things that I have been doing ever since the league. And, of course, to top it off with the contract, you know, the leadership kind of goes with you, rather if you wanted it or not. Just being going on 5 years now, I'm classified a veteran. I'm classified an experienced player. So just having the rest of the guys in this building that's not all experienced players, just trying to be that type of player that they can look at and, you know, they can be like, okay, Justin is on his stuff. Let me get on mine. Or, you know, Justin is performing at a high ability. Let me start performing at a high ability. So I just kind of want to be that leader, that to be more vocal, to show my teammates that, you know, it is not an easy league that we play, but also I put that preparation and that hard work in to have those outcomes on Sundays.
I very much appreciate the time. Congratulations again, and we'll see you at training camp, if not sooner. Thanks again.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. That is Justin Jefferson joining us from TCO Performance Center. Top of the hour break now. We'll react to a couple things that JJ had to say, and we'll also prepare you for Johnny Athletic and Mayo Clinic big knocker Bill Maurice back on the show. Yeah, 5:30.
You're listening to Barreiro.